Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, do you aspire to be an entrepreneur, to build your own business, to leave a legacy behind? If you want to know how to get started, or if you're already on your journey and want some help on how to tackle the challenges you're facing, this show is for you. Here at Be Your Own Boss, we hear from entrepreneurs about their stories, some very practical tips, and some inspiration. Welcome to another episode of Be Your Own Boss. Our guest this week is Abdul Ghafoor. Abdul is a serial entrepreneur and is a Dubai entrepreneur. His story is the story of Dubai, really. In this episode, we talk about how he came to Dubai with almost nothing and how he established himself as a businessman here. There are several businesses that he started and several storms that he weathered. How did he manage all this? Let's hear from Abdul.
Abdul, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on the Be Your Own Boss podcast. Welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for having me.
So, Abdul, we'll talk about your journey about in the entrepreneurship and when you came to Dubai. But before that, let's talk about your background, your childhood. So, tell us about your parents, your siblings, where were you born, and the environment at home.
So I was born in Pakistan in a small city that is called Gujranwala. We are 6 brothers and sisters, 4 brothers and 2 sisters. And I am the baby of the family. I am the youngest. So the childhood was really spent in Gujranwala. And then for university education and all that, I moved to Lahore, where eventually the whole family moved to Lahore. And then I did my master's in administrative sciences or public administration first, and then I did my MBA. And after MBA, I started working in the financial industry and did a stint of about 8 years. And during 8 years, I progressed from just an export officer in a documentary credit to a vice president in corporate finance. And then, I was already a vice president. And since I did my MBA from a university, which is considered to be very prestigious, in fact, we were set up by mostly by the best, educational institutions in the world, like Harvard. Our total curriculum was from Harvard Business School. Our teachers came from there. Our teachers came from other prestigious university like Imede, like Columbia, so we had a very nice setup. It was the first private sector university in Pakistan, and really a lot of prestige attached to it. So that was one of the reasons that my career progressed very quickly, because everybody took us, And during those 8 years, since I had progressed very quickly to a vice president, I was always, I had this inkling in me that I want to do something of my own. One of my ex-colleagues, okay, he once visited us in the bank, and he told me that, he's going to close his office in Dubai. And I asked him, how come you have an office in Dubai? So he said, it's a long story, but I'm going to close it. The person who was taking care of it, unfortunately, he has passed away, and there is no one to look after, so I will close it now. And I just, told him that, why don't we make this arrangement that I go and take over your office? If I make it, I will pay you off. Otherwise, I will come and look for a job, and, whatever it is, we will settle afterwards. He says, I have no problem, but there is next 6 months rent is due, so you have to pay that. Okay. So when I went to my boss and I told him that I'm going to leave the job and I'm going to Dubai. And his words, I still echo in my mind. He was a pure Urdu speaking guy. He says, "Kaddu ho gaye ho kya?" That you're normally you are okay. What happened to you within 2 hours? So I said, this guy, he has an office. He says, I know he has an office, but he's not doing anything. What you will do over there? Okay. I said, I want to start something and I will figure out something. Okay. And he says, okay, I'll give you a chance. You go there for 2 months and take the leave from the bank. And if you think after 2 months that you didn't make it and you want to come back, come and join back. I said, no, I want to resign and I want to go. So that is how I resigned and I came to Dubai. And good luck for me that when I came to Dubai, the guy who had passed away, he had communicated with one company from Malaysia. And by the way, Malaysia is my in-laws. Okay, so my wife is from Malaysia and my 2 children are from Malaysia.
Okay.
And I was married at that time already. So I said, let me see what. There was a fax in the fax machine when we arrived to in the office at that time. And it was, I remember it was 30th of June. And in the fax, it was written that we will meet you at 9 a.m. on 30th of June in Hyatt Regency. Okay. So that guy was no more. I picked up the yellow pages. I found the telephone number of Hyatt and I called and I told my company has specially sent me from Pakistan to here to come and meet you because the guy who had corresponded with you has passed away. And I am going to be the person replacing him over here now. So they had one very nice product. It looked nice, but the way it was packaged was, made it 10 dirhams product, but they wanted to sell it at $26. So I told them that no way, you cannot sell it at $26. It won't sell more than 10 dirhams. And probably I was shocked that how could I tell them like this, because this was my virtually first day in Dubai. Okay. And but they were not shocked. They said that, oh yes, we have received the same feedback from others also. I said, but this is my gut feel. This is not a scientific conclusion based on some scientific research. If you want, I can do a research 10-15 days and I can send you the results of that. So probably they were looking for some solution and they said, okay, why not? So I did a research with, the guy who sent me there. His younger brother was accompanying me and he had some friends over there. So 10-15 days, we conducted the research on 2 levels, consumer as well as on retailers level. And my, that gut feel, the initial hunch was proven correct. And so I sent them the report. And but I have been a solution guy all along my life. And that was basically due to one of my bosses who was in Chase Manhattan Bank, my boss. And I learned it from him, never say no to anything. Okay. His attitude was always, let's see how we can do it. So I designed a package and I, on PowerPoint, and I sent them this, that if we position it as a corporate giveaway instead of a consumer item, okay, we stand a chance not only to market it, but also to fetch a good price. So they called me to Malaysia to make a presentation to them. So I went to Malaysia and they were very happy. And they, there was a budget that I asked. They approved the budget and I came back very happy that, I found my reason to come to Dubai. Okay. So once I came back very happy, nothing happened. They didn't send me any money. Okay. Month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed. Frustrated, I started sending the CVs. I must have sent about maybe more than 100 CVs, and not even one single interview call I got. Because at that time I was a young person, and in my profile it was written vice president. And in Dubai, if you go back at that time, vice president used to be a person who would retire, you know. So they would think that maybe I was lying, you know. How can a 32, 33 years or 35 years old can be a vice president in a bank? Okay. And then I received an email that we have sent you the money and you go ahead with your plan. And that was already end of September. And I wrote to them that, you know, I cannot do anything now because for corporate giveaways, you have to start quite early. And by September, October, they have already fixed the budgets and all that. So I won't be able to achieve much. Tell me how to send back your money. So they said that you still go ahead with it, you know, and advertise a couple of times and see what happens. If it works, it's okay. If it doesn't work, then we have a plan for you. I said, okay, fine. So I advertised. There were few inquiries, very interesting, from palaces, you know, but not really big volumes, you know, 50 pieces, 10 pieces, like that. But we were talking about thousands of number of pieces, you know. So I told them that this is the result. They said, okay, when you came here, you saw our consumer division also, you know, household products they were manufacturing. They were actually a very sophisticated electronics manufacturing company. They were manufacturing the parts for all the major Japanese electronics manufacturers. Toshiba, Sony, Sanyo, and all that. And very sophisticated factory. Their market capitalization in Malaysia was about 500 million at that time, US dollars. And they had one big factory in China also of the same. So it was a $1 billion company at that time. And this was a small household manufacturing division, which they were using, utilizing their idle capacity of their, machines and all that. So they said that we are selling those household products in Malaysia, but we want to export them because we don't want to be in the business of collecting this credit money and all that. Okay, because over here we can sell only on credit. Can you help us? So I said that let me find out the way. I, sifted through some directories, and I bumped into a trade fair which was called International Autumn Trade Fair. Okay, and it was going to happen in October end or November beginning. I can't remember now. So I said that this is a trade fair in World Trade Center. If I participated in that, maybe I will be able to do something. So send me the samples. They sent me the samples through by air. I talked to a person in the management of this trade fair. He gave me a 6 square meter booth, and I displayed. And on the very first day, I was able to sell 2 to 3 containers of 40-foot containers of this one product, which was called toolbox, plastic toolbox. Okay. And the guy who bought me was a very big businessman, and he was exporting to the whole Gulf countries and all that. And then he started giving me very good business out of that. Okay. So this is how it all started. Okay. And then we sold, thousands of containers on their behalf. I was selling in not only in Dubai, but also in Saudi Arabia. I had a distributor over there. I was selling in Qatar. I had very good customers in Cyprus. Okay. So we were doing good business. And one day, my Saudi guy, he owed me almost 750,000 dirhams. And one day he decided that he's not going to pay me. That was partly my mistake, but unknowingly. My mistake that I had given him exclusive distribution, but my company in Malaysia, they started selling to somebody else on my back without telling me. And that guy, he understood. He asked me, "Are you doing this?" I said, "No." He sent me some photos, and that he was correct, because the products photos that he sent me, I was not even bringing them here. Those are big bulky products, so I was not dealing in with them. So somebody was importing those also, so I knew that it is something as that. But anyway, so this way my distribution business got a very bad setback, because I lost money over there. I stopped distributing over here because I was paying back, but I was not receiving money from him, and I cash position started getting deteriorated. So I told them that I don't want to distribute. I want to just be a broker. Okay. So then I started selling to different other markets also. To cut it short, that was a big learning for me, that if you are a small fish, don't get into distribution in Gulf countries, because it's a totally different market. Then I had to stop that business, because ultimately that company in Malaysia, they stopped their household division because they sold their this dyes and all that, and they started utilizing their capacity for other electronics manufacturing things, because the demand increased and all that. So I lost those customers, but at the same time, I had a customer from Cyprus whom I was selling products from India and China also. From India, I was buying these hot pots, with stainless steel lining inside and plastic outside.
Yeah.
So I was selling a very big quantity. There was a very good company from Mumbai. And then this customer from Cyprus, they became, I also became their kind of marketing advisor in certain way. And they had brought one very interesting product from, technology from other European countries, Germany and Switzerland, which was the yogurt packaging. The one that you get these days like a bucket. Okay. This was the product. I am the one who has introduced this product in UAE and Saudi Arabia. This is called IML packaging, in mold labeling packaging. So they were using in Cyprus only 7 to 8% of their capacity. And within 1 year, I exhausted 100% of their capacity between 3 customers: Marmoom, Al Rawabi, and Nadik from Saudi Arabia. And you see, I went to Al Rawabi. They were not very, warm to my idea. Although I wrote one pager marketing material to them, brochure, in which I said that you adopt this solution today, you will be a leader. Adopt it tomorrow, you will be a follower. Not adopting is not an option. So I was immediately called by Al Rawabi, Marmoom, and Alain from UAE. Okay. So Alain Dairies. So yeah. Al Rawabi were not very warm to the ideas. They thought that product is very expensive, and people are not going to buy it. They are going to eat yogurt, not the bucket. When I went to Marmoom next day, there was a gentleman with the name of Raju, Ramakrishna Raju. And he looked at my card, first meeting, and he said, "Mr. Abdul, how soon you can supply me this?" I said, "How soon you want it?" He said, "Yesterday." So I said, "Okay, that's a good beginning." I said, "But you haven't asked me the price." He said, "Yes, that is important." So when I told him the price, his reaction was almost the same, that it is increasing my cost by 60%. Okay. And that is exactly what Al Rawabi people told me also. But there in Al Rawabi, it was the general manager purchasing who was talking to me. Here it was a general manager of Marmoom who was also looking after sales and marketing. Okay. So he said, "But never mind, I can see my sales flying." This was his second sentence, that it increases my cost by 60%, but I can see my sales flying. Okay. So he made me promise that I will not sell it to anybody else for next 6 months. I said, "How can I promise you without knowing what are the volumes that you are going to give me?" And he said that, "Look, we are just a new company. It was, I'm talking about 22 years ago. Okay. We are just a new company. We have maybe 2 to 3% market share. Okay. And, but I can see that I can capture a good market share with this product, because this, number one, this size of packaging is not available in the market. So we would be the first one to bring it out. I said, okay, but still I need to understand what volumes we are talking about. And he said that, the maximum I can tell you at this point in time, based on what we are doing right now, is that we will buy in first year 100,000 buckets from you. I said, well, this is not very interesting. To cut it short, he bought every month more than 100,000, and three times, I think, my principals from Cyprus, they shipped by air at their own expense just to support him. So since I had promised with him for 6 months, by third month, I think Al Rawabi, they started realizing that, maybe they had made a mistake. So they contacted me again, and then their first order was about, more than almost 600,000 units. Okay. And then I went to Nadic in Saudi Arabia. They started getting the product and started packaging instead of yogurt, butter. Okay. And within 1 year, capacity was gone.
So this is the business journey here, right? But on the personal finance side, let's explore this story from that angle as well here. When you move to Dubai with this idea that, okay, you're going to go here and go to your friend's office here and try and figure out what you can do. At this time, you were already married, right? You had a family at this time to support, and you quit your job. Like, it must have been a bit challenging, because in the initial phase, for the first few months, this Malaysian company, they had the inquiry, but they didn't give you any order. So there was no income coming in. How did you manage that? Yeah, the financial aspect of it, because now you're not getting any salary anymore.
Yeah. My family, my wife at that time, she was a doctor and she was working in Malaysia. So I did not have that pressure to support them. Okay. But having said that, when I moved here, one of the motivating factor was also this, that Pakistani rupee was always depreciating. Okay. So whatever my salary was in the previous year, next year it was less than that, even though there were increments and all that. When I measured my earnings in the foreign exchange, because 2 times I would go to Malaysia, 2 times my wife would come to Pakistan, and we were, in the negative. So one of the motivating factors was that, and I didn't have the money. The only money that I got to pay that 6 months rent, and maybe about $2,000 that I carried with me, was because I was entitled to buy the company car that was given to me at its book value. So I bought that car from the bank and I sold it, and whatever the balance was, after paying the bank whatever was that book value, that was barely enough to give me 14,000 dirhams for the next 6 months rent and $2,000. So that is how I took the risk and chance. And that is the reason why I sent almost 100, CVs, that I was desperate to latch on to something. Okay. But then one day I said, I'm not going to degrade myself. Whatever it is, now I'm going to make it myself into the entrepreneurial, realm. So maybe the Almighty listened to that, and from that day onwards, things started improving.
Fantastic. So now you set up this business where you were able to, the bucket. What is that called, by the way? The yogurt bucket.
The technology under which it is called IML, in mold labeling. What happens is that there is a injection molding machine, and there is a robotic arm attached to it, and there is a tray in which there are sheets of labels. Okay, so the robotic arm will pick up the sheet, roll it over, take it to the mold, and the material is injected, and that, because both materials are same, the label as well as the bucket, so it becomes like a immersed immersed in it, and it's unscratchable and all that. Okay, and it's beautiful, picturesque type of a label.
So unlike the other material, which is like a can, there is a sticker on it. This is not a sticker. This is
Not a sticker. And the benefit of this is that even if you have 100 different types of stickers or the labels, it doesn't matter. But in printing, you have to set up the print shop, and you have to do hundreds of test run first before the colors and everything is set. Okay, so there is no wastage, there is no kind of stuff, and it's very quick. So it's a very nice technology to for the labeling.
So your earlier distribution company, which had this issue with the partner in Saudi, and because of that, then you had to discontinue that. And then with this one, where you were working with the company in Cyprus. So what happened with that after that? Like, did you grow it further?
First, I will tell you the story of the Saudi. The guy, he stopped coming, he stopped buying, and he stopped paying me. And for 1 or 2 years, I was pursuing him from time to time, going to Riyadh, sometimes getting 10,000 out of him, sometimes nothing. Okay, just my own expense. But my business was going on with hot pots and this brokerage of the same products to other places and all that. One day I went in desperation and I wanted to get any amount from him. Okay, and this is very interesting for your readers. Okay, for your listener. On the plane, every time I flew out of Dubai, I would buy a book from Dubai duty free shop. Okay, I bought one book which was Magic of Thinking Big. And before I landed, I had made up my mind how to talk to this guy. Okay. So when I went there, I went to the hotel, checked in, went to him. He said, "Why you are here?" I said, "To get my money." And he said, "Did I call you?" I said, "You will never call me. You are not going to ever call me if I didn't come here. But it does not mean that you don't owe me my money, and it does not mean that you will not give me my money. This time you have to pay my money. Okay. Otherwise, I'm staying in this hotel, and you have to pay the hotel, and everything, all my expenses you have to pay in addition to what you owe me." I don't know what happened to him. He says, "You go back. I will come to you after 12 o'clock at night." It was first of Ramadan. So, in Ramadan, that the Saudi way of working changes. They will work in the evening at night, and during the day they will take rest. So he said, "I will come to you after 12 o'clock. So he came to me and he says that, "I've talked to my banker, and I am willing to pay you 50% of whatever I owe you. Otherwise, your things are still there. I haven't been able to sell. You can take them back." I said, "No, I don't want to get anything back from you, and I don't want to negotiate on my money. You have to pay me 100%. Otherwise, you face the consequences." Okay. I had no idea what I was talking about, but it was just a confidence. He thought that there is somebody big behind me, and he is going to get into trouble. He was not actually a Saudi. He's a Yemeni living in Saudi Arabia. Okay.
It's time for a short break here. We'll continue this conversation right after this break. Stay tuned.
So anyway, he said that, "Abdul Ghafoor, don't go back this time without getting this money. But wallah, I cannot pay you more than 50%. This is what my bank has promised me that they can lend me." Okay. You think about it. I will come to you in the morning, and after you have cooled down, we will discuss it again. I said, okay, fine. So he came next day. Now I am putting up this brave face, no, 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 and blah blah blah. But inside my heart, you know, I'm going to burst with the happiness. So I finally agreed with him, and I said, no, it will happen like this. That he said, I have brought this paper, you have to sign it. I said, no. First, you have to go with me to the bank. You will make arrangement to remit to my account in Dubai. And once I have received this money, my bank will confirm me, only then I will sign. So he said, okay, fine, that's not a problem for me. I can trust you for that. So that is how I got more than half of my money back from him, because some I had already got during those my stints with 10,000, 5,000, this type of thing. So I got almost 55% of my money back from him. And that was a huge help. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is magic of thinking big.
And what was in the book Magic of Thinking Big that triggered you to change your
You know,
behavior like this? What was?
I have read it long time back, so I cannot recollect everything. But it was something that if you think big, okay, confidence and all that, then your brain will tell you the ways how to do things or something like that. So that was quite motivational stuff. And since I was reading during my flight, so I was a little bit pumped up also. And with that pumped up situation, there was no thinking time which would, give me this idea, oh, it will not work. So I was not able to talk negatively to myself. And then in between, I also started doing management consultancy. I had a childhood friend. He was depressed, and he said that I want to get the agency of these perfumes. They were perfume dealers, one of the very big companies in the world. Between him and his brother, I think they serviced almost 20% of the world market. But they were the intermediaries. They don't have their own agencies. And I said, why don't you have your own agency? And he had this story to tell me that since he is not very educated and he doesn't know how to present to the companies, and I said, why don't you hire the manager? And he said that if I hire the manager, then they will get my secrets and they will become my competitors. Okay. So I said, okay, let me help you. So I got him one, agency of a very nice brand, Beverly Hill Polo Club or something like that. Okay. So then he asked me that, why don't you work for me? I said, no, I cannot work for you, but I can work for you as a consultant. So then I got to working with him as a consultant. We went to Australia to launch that product. He had already his presence in Australia, also in the retail sector also. And he processed my work permit for Singapore, and from there I became permanent resident of Singapore. I was staying in Dubai, and I was permanent resident of Singapore for 10 years till the time I decided that I'm not going to go there. So no need. So management consultancy. In between, I also did on the side dry cleaning business, which I then literally gave away to one lady from Mumbai. She had a distress story to tell, so she didn't have a lot of money and she needed. And my this laundry business or dry cleaning business was not at a scale which I thought that I would bring it to, because I had started going to Singapore very frequently and to Cyprus and all that. So and then 2004 or 2004 comes real estate, and I left everything and I jumped into real estate. Okay. Single-handedly, I must have sold more than 200 million dirhams worth of properties, for Rock Properties, for Damak, and for some other projects. And there were days when one day my commission was 1 million dirhams. Okay.
Wow.
I would tell today I will sell 11 apartments, and I would sell 11 apartments. I am one of the two pioneers, I can say, of this short let apartments in UAE. And at one time, I was managing about 45 apartments in Dubai Marina, in JBR, in JLT, and Palm Jumeirah. And then one day, we came to know that we cannot do this business under real estate or facilities management company. Those were the two companies that I had at that time. So you had to have property management license, which cost, where security deposit was only 5 million dirhams. Okay. And then I had to close that business. And I returned all those apartments to my investors and helped them to rent them on long-term rentals basis. And then with the housekeeping team that we had, we started this beautiful concept of business, which was the first of its kind, which is called mangrove cleaning services. Okay. And for 11 years, I was managing that. And it was based on a blue ocean strategy. And we adopted steam cleaning as a method of delivery of the service because it was a green service. And we educated the market, we helped the market to develop. And after running it for about 11 years, then I sold it December last year.
You mentioned about it was a blue ocean strategy. Can you just explain what is blue ocean strategy?
Yeah, in a nutshell, it is, that instead of competing with others, okay, in the market, you don't compete with the existing market players. You create your own, because existing market is like a red ocean where there are price wars and all that. There is killing, there is blood and bath. In blue ocean, you don't compete with the industry players. You target the non-industry customers, okay, and then expand into the industry. There are different things that you have to do in doing that, okay. But we were really able to create a blue ocean where we did not have any competition. And proof of that was that, in the first 4 or 5 months, we really faced this existential threat because people didn't know what is steam cleaning. Okay. And our business model was based on steam cleaning. We didn't want to do mop and bucket type of cleaning. And when we approached customers, okay, after initial very exciting responses from a couple of nurseries, okay, children nurseries, not the plant nurseries. Then we were facing a little bit of lull, okay, where people were really doubting that what we can do that a maid service company will not do. And they would say that why would we pay 3,000 dirhams for a 3-bedroom apartment? This I'm talking about, 2011, 12, okay. Why would pay 3,000 for a 3-bedroom villa, whereas we can have 4 maids and they will work for 4 or 5 hours and we will pay them 25 dirhams per hour per maid. So then I came up with this brochure, which really helped us to educate. And this brochure said that, can a dirty mop clean? Okay. And when they heard this and they looked at the brochure, they knew that mop will just, and it, the next sentence was, it just spreads the germs. Okay. It doesn't clean, it just spreads the germs. So then they would think that, oh, they are just, doing this reprocessing of the same water and, cleaning this mop inside that, wringing this, inside the same dirty water, and then they're just doing that. And then they started giving us the chance. Okay. And now, in between, my marketing guy, he thought that he has achieved the 40,000 dirhams worth of sales by bringing in some real estate companies who would give us 15, 20 apartments a day, and we will charge them 80 dirhams, 100 dirhams, 120 dirhams for a studio, 1-2 bedroom apartment. Okay. And he thought that we have reached 40,000 dirhams and it's a big achievement, and he has achieved all his targets. I said, this is not even your salaries. We are 5 people in the office and 3 or 4 clean. No. By that time, we already had 8 cleaners. Okay. I said, how am I going to eat my salary? 40,000 is your target. So one day I told him, from today onwards, we are not going to do any of the real estate companies. And 80 dirhams becomes 800 dirhams, 100 becomes 1000 dirhams, and 120 becomes 1200, and 143 bedroom apartments become 1440. These are our prices. If you can sell, very good. If you can't sell, let me sell it. Okay. So there was another girl who helped us selling, and she was excellent. And from the day one, she started bringing in result. And that very month, we reached 100,000 sales, from 40,000 to 100,000 in 1 month, and we never looked back after that. And basically, the reason was that brochure that we designed. And once the customer would say, "Oh, but we can put chemicals in that, so they will kill the germ." Okay. So then I would ask them that, are chemicals part of the problem or part of the solution? Look at your environment. If you have children, can you allow them to crawl on that floor where you have put this chemical laden mop? And then they said, okay, makes sense. So we became a very well received service, and customers started giving us, in 11 years, we never went below 4.7 Google ranking, and beautiful reviews and everything. And, people, if they didn't move, and our service was only deep cleaning. We are not on daily basis cleaning. Our service is only deep cleaning. So you would need us when you are doing your next deep cleaning, maybe within a year, or maybe when you are moving your house next time. And sometimes they will call us 7 years later, 8 years later. They still have our contact and the emails and everything. Okay. So it will be the chain of the email starting from 7 years onwards. Okay. So that I have sold, and now I'm into this new idea of mine, and I think that there is an opportunity in Dubai, because after the COVID and all that, people have started coming to Dubai again, and there are thousands of hundreds and thousands of companies which come on annual basis, because there are more than 500 trade fair exhibitions and seminars and kind of stuff in only World Trade Center Dubai, and there are millions of visitors visiting them. And I think that if I am able to get 1 out of every 1,000, I need only 10 to 12 maybe in 1 or 2 years time. So the market is big, and I am quite hopeful that although I'm not been able to get any customer at this point in time, I am in contact with 5-6 very interesting leads and negotiations, in fact.
Yeah. So it looks like the value proposition that you have with Penguin Connect is that you will be their representative here in Dubai. So if there is a company in India that's expanding well, doing well, but they want to now grow internationally, this is their way of growing their presence in Dubai. Through you, they can grow. You can be their representative.
Yeah. You see, my target is that I'm targeting those companies which have either a very interesting concept, okay, or their revenues should not be less than $30-35 million, because below that, then they want to do business in a way that I don't want to do. Okay, and above that, they have such size that probably they don't need me. Okay, so this is the kind of market that I am targeting. Okay, and when I visit the trade fairs, I look into those kind of companies which I think that they need me and I can represent them well. So my idea is that those companies which want to expand, like you said, that they have made it in their own domestic market and their brand is established, and they think that they are ready to venture into international arena, but they don't want to experiment by establishing their own setup, their own infrastructure, whether that is physical infrastructure in offices and warehouses and all that, or even the human resources and all that. And they can try through us in a way that we will do a market research for them. We will tailor a go-to-market strategy for them, and then we will find the distributors or whoever in the distribution chain we think that they should be connected to, because we will not be doing the trading ourselves. We don't have that mandate, because we, in our license, number one, ours is a free zone license, and number two, in our license we have three categories. One is companies representation, one is management consultancy, and one is human resource consultancy. Penguin Connect is companies representation. So right now we are not focusing on management consultancy and human resource consultancy. And very interesting information for you is that my partner in this business is the gentleman who bought buckets from me at Marmoon, Mr. Raju.
Oh, Mr. Raju, yes, you mentioned about Mr. Raju, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So he had a very eventful career in Dubai, almost 35 years in the very good corporations and multinationals and good local groups and all that. And now we have joined hands to.
Very nice.
Although he's not 100% involved in the business, he's helping me, but we are. But he's integral part of Penguin International.
So, Abdul, looking at your journey, the kind of different experiences that you've had, having started so many different businesses in these over these years, and started and changed or shut down businesses or given it to somebody else, right? What would be your advice to people who are just starting out? Like either they are in a job right now and they want to start a business, or they've just started a business. What's your advice for them?
The lessons that I have learned during my journey, entrepreneurial journey, is that if you do not have strong nerves, then number one, you should think twice getting into it, because it's not all rosy picture. It is, a journey of, turbulence.
Roller coaster.
Mostly turbulent. Okay. And especially if you are working, then do a sidekick first, establish your some revenue stream, and then leave the job. Or if you have this steel nerves, and then you can jump into it. But I don't think that everyone should take that route, just jumping into it. Okay. If you believe in your idea, you should pursue it. But then you should create the conditions for you to be able to pursue the idea, not worry about what is going to happen, because you got to have a very, very narrow focus on what you are doing today. You cannot think about what happened yesterday or what will happen tomorrow, because the moment you start worrying about past and future, that is about pain and fear, then you will not be able to survive. You see, in 2008, when I was in real estate business, all of a sudden there were no sales, but we had to survive, and whatever I had earned, I was pumping into one pet project in Ras Al Khaimah Rock Properties, and I had about 13 apartments, one villa, and one townhouse. Okay, for which I had paid 45%, and all of a sudden there was no income coming, and our expenses were huge. Okay, and then what happened was that in between 2008 to 2009 and 2010, I went to Malaysia to set up a restaurant over there, because I thought that I should diversify country risk, because UAE was, due to its, although it was an international economic crisis, but UAE was, because of its real estate, probably I thought that it was worse hit. Okay, but I lost about more than $500,000 dirhams, or 700,000 ringgit over there. Okay, and when I came back, the partner at that time, he was unable to handle the declining business, and we were under some debt already. By the time I took over, we were 1.8 million under. So then we decided that one of us should take over, and he handed over to me. Okay, and he walked out. Now imagine we have to pay 1.8 million, and there is no income other than the apartments business that we had, and that was also greatly affected, because due to the economic crisis, people were not coming to for the tourism purposes. So the day would be in firefighting, dealing with the people whom we owed the money, and I would not tell even one single problem to my wife, because I knew that if I told her, her panic plus the problems from the market, that will even, combine and affect me in a worse way. So I would come tired, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I would sleep. I would wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. I would write the blog. I will do the, for this, the cleaning company that we had started at that time, okay? 2011. I would do blogging. I do all the social media management. At that time, it was relatively easy. You wrote a blog, you tweeted it, you shared the post in the Facebook, and immediately there was a response. The Google, this algorithm was not all that complicated at that time, and since there was not too much competition in what we were doing, okay, so we were always on page one, and even on first page also, first position also in the organic search. So I remember I used to work almost 16 hours, 16, 17 hours, sometimes 18 hours also. Okay. And that was 1.5 year, very, very tough. By the grace of God, we, through the revenues of this company, we, paid all the, liabilities. Okay. And then we carried on. But one of the side effects of those liabilities was that we could not grow to the tune where we could have gone, because of whatever I was earning, I was taking out and paying back to the so it didn't go into the growth much. Okay, so if you have 1 million dirhams, start a business which is 300,000 worth of which would take 300,000 worth of investment. Okay, keep the 300,000 for rainy days, and other 300,000 for your own expenses, and so that is how I would advise. that if you want to jump into something which is capital intensive, then you should take this route. But if it's an idea based, keep working on the side till the time you have started generating some revenue streams out of it, and then you think confident that now you can leave the job and you can get involved in your business 100%.
Got it. That's a very, very well put, because I like the way you've categorized these into, you want to start a business. Is it an idea-based business, or is it a capital-intensive business? If it's a capital-intensive business, you need a bulk amount of money. If it's an idea-based business, start on the side, work on it till it grows, and then you can leave. Now, there are a couple of different points that you brought up, and I'd like to ask about that. So the energy right now, you mentioned about how you were working for 16 hours a day, and not sharing the pain with, and somehow, because managing it, because there was a lot of stress, right? What's your way of rejuvenating yourself? What's your leisure? How do you recharge your battery?
All right. One thing before that, I think in my case, I have never been motivated by the money per se. When I lost all that money, I always told myself that whatever is in my pocket is my money. Whatever is not in my pocket was never my money. Everybody has some mechanism of relieving their stress. I have this 1 minute meditation type of a thing where in my computer there are always some projects open. Either it is blogs or working on some ideas, writing them. So when I am too stressed, what I will do, I will sit down, I will close my eyes, I will take a deep breath, count till 20, and release. Take a deep breath, hold, count till 20, and release. And in the third 20 seconds or 20, counting to till 20, I already know what I'm going to do next. So I will go to my computer and start working on that thing. So that sequence of thoughts is very, very important to break, which are haunting you. And your mind, it's a chatterbox, it's a monkey which is shifting from one branch to another. Okay, so I've written a blog also, it is in the Medium, I think, about how I quieten my mind. I have my own blog also, which is randomlatte.com. So some blogs are there and few blogs are there, but mostly I've written them in 2018 or in that period. These days I'm a little bit lazy.
Okay. So Abdul, looking back at your life, the way it has transformed from the early ages of your early phase of working at the bank in Lahore to the multiple businesses that you've started now, who would you like to give credit to for your success?
That's a very interesting question. I think I have met very nice bosses, okay, during my banking career. Especially there are two people who really inspired me to work in a certain way, like a solution oriented approach, so that but again, I would also give credit to my alma mater, Lahore University of Management Sciences, because the kind of education which was imparted over there, that really helped me also. Okay, and then in the practical life, but it would be unfair if I didn't talk about the teams that I have worked with. Honestly, I would not be anything without those people who have helped me grow, especially in mangrove journey. Okay, they were brilliant people from Bangladesh, from cleaners to the management teams. Okay, they were brilliant people, and without them, I wouldn't have achieved anything. So basically, yes, during my journey, these people are very, very important. The team members, Filipinos, Pakistanis, Indians. Okay, until December 6th, the driver in my company was the same person who was my driver in 1997. 24 years he was with me.
Wow. Through all the different businesses, he was with you always.
He was always with me. Yes.
So, Abdul, as we conclude here, like one final question. Actually, this is the second last question. I would like to ask one more thing at the end, but one question about your business, about Penguin Connect. So, among the listeners, people who are running their businesses in other countries and people who would like to reach out to you to connect with you on Penguin Connect so that you can help them represent them here. What's the best way to reach out to you?
They can reach out to me through Abdul at penguinconnect.com, or they can come through website also, and I can give my personal telephone number also. They can contact me on WhatsApp also, which is 971-55-415-3117.
Got it.
And
your website is
penguinconnect.com. Yes.
I'll mention that in the show notes and in the description for YouTube. So your number, your email ID, and the website, so that people can reach out to you. How was your experience being on the show? What's your feedback?
Very relaxed. You are very good host. Very good host, and you ask. Obviously, you are experienced now. You ask pertinent questions, relevant questions, and one thing which I have found a trademark of good hosts is they are good listeners. They interrupt less. Okay, they let other people talk, and you have that quality.
Thank you so much. So, Abdul, thank you so much for taking out time and joining us here on the show and sharing your journey. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's a great pleasure to have met you and to be on your show and talking to you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was Abdul Ghafoor, the Dubai-based businessman, the serial entrepreneur, and you've been watching and listening to Be Your Own Boss.